Hello, and welcome to another Bethel University Writing Center podcast with Tara
and Kirsten.
Hey Kirsten, you know what bedtime story my mother told me the other night?
Your mom still tells you bedtime stories?
Sometimes I have trouble falling asleep, okay?
Hey, I'm not judging.
Well, it was the boy who cried wolf.
It's been a long time since I've heard that story. What version does your mom tell?
Well, it's the basic story, but I won't go into detail and bore you. There's a shepherd boy keeping watch over his flock by night, and he longs for companionship, so he decides to cry wolf so the villagers will rush to his defense and keep him company. But the villagers grow tired of his schoolboy antics and late-night chit-chat attempts, and on the night when there actually is a wolf, the boy cries out, but is left all alone. And you know why? Because he wasted his precious resources.
That reminds me of something I saw in the Writing Center the other day. There was a student who came in frustrated beyond belief, and their paper was due in an hour. They had all the right content and ideas, but their paper still seemed really weak. Since they were down to the wire, they didn't have time to utilize their resources to their full potential.
So what do you think they could have done differently to make their argument stronger? Because this is something I see a lot too.
Well, much like the boy who cried wolf, a lot of students will misuse their resources by waiting until the last minute to analyze them. What most students don't realize at this point in time is that critically reading their own sources will actually help strengthen their argument.
I totally agree. Now listen up, because we're getting to the meat of the issue. When you read through an article, ask yourself what sort of things stuck out to you. Was it a specific quote or feeling that you walked away with? Why did you remember it? Was it because of personal examples, credibility, accessible wording, or something else? Then ask yourself if that made the argument stronger or weaker.
By looking at your sources this way, you can effectively analyze whether your own argument is strong or weak. Before you start your paper, first ask yourself if you have an opinion on the subject. After you analyze your sources, ask yourself that question again. Do you feel the same way? Did any of your sources influence that decision, whether changed or not? Remember the techniques you see in your sources and try to use them in your own paper. It's important to be careful that you aren't using unsupported bias in your own paper after this decision. Readers need to know where the information is coming from.
And that pretty much wraps up this edition of Bethel's Writing Center podcasts. I'll close by reminding you that no matter how strong your argument is, if you don't address the other side of the issue, you'll not only lose credibility, but you'll be left standing alone on your soapbox on the top of a hill as the wolf menacingly advances on your paper.
Thanks for listening, and make sure to stop by and see all of us tutors in the Writing Center.